What's going on, guys? I started this video in the house here because I am super excited about the new front bumper I got for the G35. This G35, I think it's going to definitely be one of the first ever with a Q50 HR motor in it. Number two, it's probably going to be the first ever to have a Buick front bumper on it. Yeah, look at that. That is sick. You seen it here first, folks. First G35 sedan with a Buick front end conversion. I'm totally messing with you guys. I would never in a million years ever have this logo on my car. Nor would I have Chevy. I can't hate on Pontiac because Pontiac made some cool stuff. Granted, yes, that was GM, but GM in general, just unless you're buying a Vet or maybe a Camaro. So, this is actually not for the G35. Obviously, you guys probably knew I was screwing with you when I said that. But what it is going on is this car right here. You guys can get firsthand a little bit of the misery of Minnesota. Well, shovel blew away. Anyways, this is it was a completely totaled as you can see, I rebuilt this. I didn't even rebuild it. I just heated the hell out of it and got it bent up. I apologize about the wind, but got her straight enough. So we're going to get the rest of this car together. And yeah, it'll be about $4,000 into a $18,000 car. 20,000 mile Buick Regal GS. I have the other headlight sitting right over here. So yeah, figure I cut that in the video. Now, obviously, this video is not about a Buick Regal. So we're gonna take this and set it right there. Anyways, let me shut this door. It is freaking cold out, you guys. -5. That's why you have to have a heated garage in this state. Anyways, as you can see, we started on some wiring. Basically what I'm doing is I got to, I told you guys, slow but steady. This build's slowly coming along. I'm going to show you what I bought for the transmission here in just a minute. But yeah, we got our fuse box and, well, I should say fuse and relay box and fan relay module and all of those rewired. So this is all me, taping all this stuff up, but basically I made it so the boxes, everything's gonna sit tucked up this way in this cavity area, which I'll show you when I get it set up. We did finish the wiring from the battery. That's just a temporary bracket. It is completely rubber isolated. It's actually pretty sturdy. It's a temporary bracket for now just to get things going, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm deleting everything I don't need in the accessory harness. I still got a lot of work to do on the engine harness. I have to extend all the VVT solenoids because on this second gen HR, they're not off to the side and one down like the other. They're both right here and they're actually at a forward angle. So I'm gonna have to extend the harnesses. Basically, what I'm trying to do is clean this harness up so it's more manageable. It's not gonna be a completely tucked engine bay, but the harness is gonna look significantly better. I'm getting rid of all the random grounds that are everywhere. Like, no one needs all that BS. So we're just gonna rewire all of it. I actually got my ground hanging off to the side here. So what we're gonna do is we have to use the factory. Well, we don't have to, but I want to use the factory ammeter so that the body control module and related modules can actually know how much current the alternator is generating. I do need recommendations on an alternator that's higher output. If you guys have any ideas, I'm going to be doing some homework into that. I got the fuel system in. I'm actually going to show you. I'll cut that video in. And I will show you what I got set up here. So the lines, they come from the factory location around the tank, you know, obviously over the top. And then they are cradled and held by rubberized hose clamps. If you guys can see that. Working on getting you a light here. So they're plumbed all the way down, kind of in the factory location. And they go all the way down, and then they go into the chassis. So if you guys can see that. So I actually plumbed them in through the frame rail. And the way this works, since they're plumbed in inside the actual body frame rail here, they go, kind of show you here. So they go up into this cavity. Now this cavity goes upward, right? And right up under here, you can almost reach through, but it's on the inside, is that battery box. The factory battery box is where they actually come through. I stepped a hole in the bottom there. I put some rubber isolators around it, and I ran them up through here. The advantage of that, I'm relocating the battery to the trunk, so we don't need the space in here. We're going to have some other things in here, but as far as heat, especially when I have all the shielding here, that does help keep the lines cooler. Not only that, we are putting an angle kit on this car, and the last thing I wanted was AN fuel lines running on the exterior of the chassis in the fender well. Not a good idea. I also, because this is getting twin turb skis, did not want the lines ran and plumbed up on the inside. That's actually getting deleted. That's an evap line. This thing is going to be completely evap deleted. But got them ran up through here. Perfect location. Basically, they're going to plumb out right from here, right into each rail, you know, feed, return. Once this tank drains down some more, we're going to clean it out. I'm starting to get air bubbles. We lost our suction, so I think she's sitting pretty low on fuel now. I would have to say yes. So there's about an inch left in there. I'm going to have to get that siphon going again, actually. But we're going to drop the pump in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the pump, very simple here, outer pin and the middle pin. I'm going to feed those with 12 volts, obviously in the right orientation, and I want to make sure that the pump, one, you know, spools up and flows lots of fuel, and two, you know, this is an aftermarket pump, and it snapped right into the OE connector. It's from Boosted Performance. I ended up getting this pump from a friend of mine, actually. And basically, I need to make sure that that they all plumb in, and that the fuel pump is not spinning in reverse, and that we're not going to run into any goofy issues. So that's what I'm doing right now. We'll update you in a second. Hey, got the fuel system all wired up. Got my my helper here, and in a second she's going to hold it down on positive. I already primed it to see if it would run. All right, go ahead and hit it, Taylor. Just hold it steady. All right, stop. It's under pressure. Make sure there's no traces of leaks. No, there's not. All right, I'm gonna have you hold it again in just a second. Hit it again. Yep, okay. We got tons of pressure. So the idle fuel pressure, if you don't drill the port out enough, you won't have enough. I could tell just by grabbing these, I have a ton of pressure there. So that is good. All right, that is all I needed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, don't touch it on there again. We're about to blow some stuff up. Open fuel tank, fuel all over the ground. arc and wires. All right, well, I can definitely seal her up shut, but I got custom AN lines ran up through this block here, which obviously we're gonna need a regulator and some other stuff I got on order. And then they're gonna feed right into the custom rails. No longer running the GTM rails. I'm waiting on Charles, CJ Motorsports, to get the rails ready for the plenum. Now, speaking of the plenum, I'm gonna show you guys, I got a machine shop right now building me a custom template for the top of this. We are not gonna be running O-rings. You know, this is gonna be a twin turbo car. It is not gonna have O-ring seals between the lower plenum and the upper, nor is the upper gonna be plastic. So I will go ahead and cut that in right now so you can kind of see what I'm working with. So essentially what that plate is it's gonna sit obviously on the top of this, and then I'm gonna have 2-inch 90 tubes, you know, that oppose each other that come out. And the goal is that it's gonna be really short runners. I wanna build up and keep everything tucked this way. And I don't wanna overhang over the oil cap. I literally wanna make it so that the manifold, a little hose clamp. I want to make it so the manifold, you know, has maybe overhangs to about this point, and that's it, so that I can easily access the plugs and coils without taking throttle bodies off, without screwing around with anything. And then that being said, the goal, you guys, this sounds crazy. The goal is I want both throttle bodies facing forward, right next to each other, so that everything nice and confined in center. And that gives me way more room around the sides of the motor to not deal with that kind of BS. If the charge pipe comes up through the intercooler and right into the middle, that saves tons of room everywhere else, which is exactly what I'm going for. So fully custom job that's gonna be. Now here's something else I'm super stoked on. I wanna shout out to WIT out of St. Paul here in Minnesota. You guys found me the only Rebestos red stage 2 clutch kit for the RE5 transmission. The only one in the country. And I got my hands on it. Did not have to wait on special order. Phenomenal. You can see it's so freaking dusty. It's been sitting there for a long time. But the other thing, you automatic guys, if you don't have one of these, you don't know what you're missing, because this right here is a valve body. Well, they say reprogramming kit, but essentially what it is, it's a spring and solenoid kit that basically changes all your line pressures. This kit will allow it to chirp through second, probably into third, grabbing nice and hard. Now, one of the things with the transmission that I was concerned about, as you guys should be if you're on autos, I know most of you watching this are like, I can't believe he's putting an automatic transmission in his G35. Well, guess what? One day, the goal, and I don't even know if it'll be this car. It might be a different car. But I did not want a CD09. I don't really want a manual transmission. I want a sequential manual gearbox is what I want. Now, do I have $10K to fork out to buy one of those? No. Do I have a perfectly working transmission with a little over 30,000 miles on it? Yes, I do, right here. And this is getting all torn down. We're gonna make a video on this when I install the clutch kit in it, the valve body kit, whole works. We're gonna do all new seals, all that kind of stuff. And the other thing with that, I am today ordering the torque converter for this transmission setup from level 10. Supposedly they figured out a way to build a 700 horsepower torque converter. So got to call them and order that up here in just a couple minutes, actually, when I'm done with this video. So I know you guys probably haven't really seen any updates on the interior. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Those, yeah, I'm doing something really unique with the headlights. You guys will see that when it's done. But yeah, I got the dash mat kit on. It's all glued down. I also did the console area, a couple of wrinkles in it, but really whatever. I just was sick of the melting dash. And then you set stuff on it and it gets that residue on it because these fucking Nissan dashes, you know, I don't know what it is, but they just melt down and they're just junk. So, and I was not really in the mood to build a custom dash that looks like ass when the rest of the car is going to be leather interior. And the headliner, we're going to definitely change the color on that. I already pulled some of the pillars. Going to have a vinyl shop redo those. And yeah, I mean, that's about it for updates. I still got to drop this rear subframe. I got all new bushings, and then I got the bushing mount. They're like isolator mounts that make the subframe more rigid. And I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to buy a Z1 built diff for it just right out of the gate, or what I'm going to do. I might let that one rock for a little bit. Not sure. We'll find out. Other thing we're doing is deleting the evap line. Now, it's already deleted down by the tank. I'm going to make a separate video. You guys can subscribe to the channel. Separate video on what to do when you're deleting the canister box and deleting the lines, because I'm not going to be running any evap system on this car because it's going to be operated by half a standalone and half the PCM. So I can program all that crap out of there. But long story short, you gotta basically, you can't just cut all the lines out and leave open lines down by the tank. You gotta do it the right way. So I will get into that and show you guys. So in the meantime, I'm probably not going to film it, but I'm going to get to work on that piece of crap Regal that's outside. We're going to get the bumper and the fender on, that kind of stuff. And then later on, too, we're going to be filming. I got my buddy's 2016 Chevy Colorado coming in. We got, we're going to do a pan gasket and filter on it, oil change, spark plugs, you know, just some basic maintenance stuff. So busy day, but yeah. Figured I'd update you guys on what was going on. I want to say too, I really appreciate the support. I get, you know, there's always those negative comments, you know, people want to complain and correct me on every single thing I say and, you know, post negative shit. But 90% of your guys' comments and feedback on the videos I've been posting is positive, and that means a lot to me. So I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share a video. Maybe do none of those, but if you want to subscribe, that would help me out. We are in the high 8s now. My goal was within 2 years of having the channel to be at 1,000 subs, and then 2 years after to be at 10,000 subs. That might be ambitious, but I guess we'll see what happens. So thank you guys for the support. You've been watching Pete's Garage, and we'll see you later on. All right.